Hello and welcome to today's training. This training is exploring the STARS Employer Self-Service Dashboard. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is get logged into the system. So it'll be one moment while we show you those steps as well. We're going to enter our login credentials. Once we get that, then we'll go ahead and sign in. And it should come into our two-step authentication process that we have set up for security reasons. So for the purpose of this training today, I will be selecting the email response. So I'm going to have it send an email. So I'm going to go into my email and check for that. All right, so we did get the email, and the verification code that we're looking for is the 6 digits here, 827576. So currently we have the 827576 in the two-factor authentication, so we're going to go ahead and confirm that. And for some of you, you may have more than one employer that you're logging into. So this is an example of, thanks to Bisbee Fire and Police here, we have two options, and I want to work with Bisbee Fire. So we're going to go ahead and select Bisbee Fire. And those of you that are local board may also have the local board information down below these as well. So you just want to make sure you select the correct employer that you're going to be working with, because this login system is the same for our employers and our local board secretaries as well. So currently, we're landed on the home page of the Public Safety Retirement System STARS computer system. So once again, welcome to the home page. You'll notice that we have quite a bit of information here, but don't let this overwhelm you. It's a real simple process to go through. And you'll notice that several sections, we have the left-hand navigation pane here, as we call it, that we'll get into here a little bit more in depth. And we're going to walk through each of these sections. And we may come across some new terminology as well along the way. And I'll explain each of these as they compare to what you're currently using in the PSPRS portal. So what you're seeing here is the login credentials for an administrator. Everything over here on this, so it's the highest security level that provides the most information. We've reached out to those individuals and made sure that we had administrators for each employer, but this is the employer administrator view. So some of you that don't have administrator access may have one or two less areas to go to here in the left-hand navigation pane. So what we're going to take a look at, we're going to get started with on this is right now we're on the home page because that's the highlighted page on the main dashboard. So in the upper left-hand corner is the employer that we're currently working with. Off to the right is the welcome, and the login ID credentials should be here. To the right of that, you'll see a bell. This is our notifications tab. This is where information such as the invoices that haven't been paid out, haven't been paid yet, would be located here. So you just click on that, and the information would be down in here of any type of notifications that are being sent out or that still need to be worked. So we close that. Next is the question mark, the help center. If you click on that, as PSPRS puts information together and we build out this information, it'll be located here. You have the search engine where you can type by the subject that you're trying to find, and then the results would populate down here below. So we'll go ahead and close that. The next thing that we're going to look at is the user profile. So your user profile that's set up, just click on that and it brings it up, username, the full name that was set up. And then if you'd like to personalize it, if you'd like to add a picture or something like that, you can just clicking edit and it'll let you change that. So we'll go back to our home page. and then we landed back on the home page. So the next area that we want to take a look at is how can we help you today? And that's in the center here. These are quick links available to you. And next to the quick links, you're going to see a description that explains what the quick link process is. For example, process a new hire, add a member to your roster. So roster is a new term to us as well. That's located right here as well. And make a payment. It's kind of obvious, but still, this is something new because we don't have e-bill anymore. So this is where the employers are going to come in to make payments on their work reports. And I said work reports, which some of you may be wondering what are work reports. Those are the contribution files. So just think work reports equals contribution files. Employees, and it explains here, has a roster of employees, your new hires. It also includes your folks that have terminated and additional information as well. And we'll just skim over that. Like I said, this is going to be a high level training. This is not meant to go in depth. We're going to have more in-depth classes as we go. And the user profile, so you can update your password, security questions, or your username. You can do that as well. So you'll notice that when I click on the left-hand navigation, click on one of these highlighted areas here and the how can I help you, it's going to highlight one of these tabs over here in the left-hand navigation pane. So we're going to click on process a new hire, and you're going to notice that the roster highlighted, it shows us a quick roster. And then this is moving into manually entering for a new hire and not submitting a demographics import file. And I know I mentioned another new word there, imports. We're going to cover that later, but just so you know ahead of time, that's where you're going to import your demographics and your contribution file down here under imports. But for the current time, we're going to stay with the roster. You'll notice it has a lot of good information here. And like I said, when we go in more in depth about adding individuals, we'll go more in depth to all this information, what it means here. So we click back on the home page just to show you another quick link here. Make a payment. You'll notice that the payments tab highlights. This is where you're going to find payments. Any open invoices are going to be located here at the top. Bank account information. Since we're no longer going to have e-bill, that information from the e-bill, Wells Fargo e-bill, will not transfer over to our new system. So our employer administrators or whoever is listed as an eligible individual can come in and add a bank account. And we're going to show you this a little bit more in depth later on. Back to our home page. So employees, you'll notice that when I click that, it goes back to roster, but you notice that it doesn't bring up the wizard to enter. So this is just strictly the roster of all your employees, and you can search by page here if you want. The easiest way to do it is to select what we call this filter here. Looks like a funnel. Click on that. Then you're able to search by a member's name, public safety ID system, which you can see right here for this particular member. And we'll just close that. And then you would just hit apply and it would search for the particular individual. And you'll notice that the Social Security number is X'd out except for the last four. That is for security reasons. So that way, if someone's looking over your shoulder, they don't see the member's complete Social Security number. All right, so we're going to click home again, and we want to go back to the main page here. And continuing on now that we've kind of showed you the highlights of it. So the news on the far right here is where PSPRS will share important business updates. Some possible examples of that would be regarding upcoming open enrollment. That way you can notify any retirees that you may have that are using your insurance or PSPRS's insurance. This information here is PSPRS is going to push that out to the employers. Any information that we feel that we need to get out to you, you'll find that in the news section here. And directly below that is the important links. This area right now, we just have a few items set up for nationwide example, but this can be customized based on your feedback as an employer. So if you'd like to see something in the important links that we haven't thought of that every employer could use, please reach out to us and let us know, and we can see if we can get that entered in there for you. So we're going to go back to the left-hand navigation pane, and we're going to select roster. So on the roster, you'll see that this has every employee, like I mentioned before, and we'll move over to plan status. So you can see that currently this particular member here is active, but then you'll notice that under the employment status for the second member here, they quit. They've been terminated. And then if we want to look at their plan status, it says that they refunded here. So this provides a lot of information to you as the employer. What's great about it is that once again, the filters tab here allows you to search for a particular member if you'd like, bring up that particular member to be able to do a little bit of research for them. Also, if you need to export your roster, you would click on the three dots, which we call the snowman. And you can export that. Let's see if it'll work today. Since we're in the test database, all this information is scrambled. Nothing is live data, and it does work. So show you a real quick example of that. It is a CSV file. So this is what the file would look like. It just brings up all your roster, their statuses, everything that you saw on that first page. It just brings up here so you can see that in the report. Now looking at the add a new employee, this would be for some of our smaller agencies maybe that want to manually update their demographics, or even a large employer that may only have one hire versus filling out the spreadsheet, or however you want to do it. This is a simple way of doing it as well, because remember the quick links also brought you to the same page by process a new hire, adding a new member. But if you happen to be in roster, you can click on add a new employee. And once again, the wizard will come up and it'll take you through the steps of the verification process. Now, anywhere that you see an asterisk like this here for the Social Security number, these are required fields. Why they're required is one thing is that we need the member's information, and we need the member's personal information so that we can reach out to them should they decide to terminate employment with you. So anytime that it's asking for anything with an asterisk, make sure that it's the member's information that you're putting in there, their personal email addresses, their phone numbers, and their address. Please don't use any work information. So a new item that we offer is for those employers that have cancer insurance. We're going to take a look at that page, and that would be in our policies tab. So this policies tab houses all of the individuals that are currently enrolled into the cancer insurance program with this employer. You'll notice that we have the effective date, the date they were enrolled, and if there's a termination date here, we would have a termination date as well. Status, if they terminated, then they would have a status over here, terminated, issued. So these are still actively issued. So it provides a little bit of information there for you. Once again, if you need to search, you'd click on the filters. Help, if you're trying to find something in specific, sorry about the cancer insurance program, this is where you look. But export coverages, once again, it allows you to export a file for the complete file, or if not. So you just click on that for filters. Once again, you can click by their status, active status, issued, terminated, the months, different months that you want to run the report for, last 12 months, 6 months, ascending, descending. A lot of options here for you. And then you would just hit apply after your search to bring up the results of that. So next, we're going to take a look at work reports. So this is a new terminology as well, which is just basically our contribution files. So we'll go ahead and get started on work reports. So whether you manually upload files or if you import your contribution files, also known as work reports in the STAR system, that's where we're at, they will be listed here in the work reports. Now in the upper right corner, where you can generate a report from it. You can also generate adjustment reports as well. Then you have the option under the three dots, other options here to export the file if you want. Just like we have in the past with our other areas, the roster, we can export that. So you can export your reports if you're trying to keep a record of it. Then filters, if you're looking for a certain particular pay period, maybe those that are closed, any that are still open. The system will allow you to search for that as well. Report status, we have a few examples here, pending, and then maybe you want to check back the last 6 months to see if there's any open invoices, or sorry, any work reports that haven't been completely processed. You could use that by using the 6 month and just look at different things here within the report itself. So we will have other training videos that go a little bit more in depth in the work reports as well, breaking it down, how to submit the work reports and so on. But next, we're going to take a look at the payment section. Once again, the top section is where you're going to have your open invoices or applied credits, as you see here, credit that's $9,000 for this particular, and this is the cancer insurance credit. Also, the bank account information. This is where you're going to add the bank account because once again, none of the e-bill information is going to transfer over once the STAR system is deployed. Real simple process. You're going to be entering the routing number, account number, re-enter it to verify it, what type of account it is. You can provide it. Let's just say for this example, since we have Bisbee Fire and Bisbee Police for this, that this account would be Bisbee Fire only. What's nice about the system that's been created is you can have numerous bank accounts set up for paying for each individual agency. So one for fire and then one for police as well, if you would like to do that. So once the system is deployed, it's very, very important that the administrators or whoever has the function of adding the bank account information actually comes in here as soon as the system is operational and enters the bank account information. And the biggest reason for that is that we don't want any work reports, contribution files, work reports, not being filed in a timely manner, because with the new system, there's automatically going to be interest charged to the employer for not submitting the contributions in a timely manner. So just want to make sure that you're well aware of that. So next, we're going to take a look at the Transactions tab. So the Transaction tab is where all transactions are listed that have been created. All open and closed work reports will be listed here. And then in the upper left-hand corner, you see Fund Details and Show Funds Group. So it defaults to Funds Details, and you'll notice that when I scroll across here, there's quite a bit of information when you're looking at the DBCT. This is the employer, and then the DBCT, this is, sorry, employee, employer, different amounts here. A lot of information, but this was requested by our finance department to ensure that we had all that breakdown. Now, if the only difference between the show details and the show funds is basically how it's displayed. In the show funds, you're going to notice that there's less information in the breakdown. It's more in the breakdown of the DC, the DB type of breakdowns per file work reports that was submitted to us. So it's not as detailed. Um, Depends on which one you prefer to work with. But just remember the funds detail is the one that it automatically defaults to. But you can always come in here if you don't want all this extra information. You can change it and just see uh, pay date, original, total balance, and so on. Not as much information displayed there, but still enough that you can see exactly what was on your files. So next we'll take a look at the administration. So this is the administration tabs for individuals who have been appointed by their position with the employer. The administrator position that PSPRS selected was a HR director, finance director, and the local board secretary. Now, the employer can make anyone their administrator, just so you know, but those are the original ones that we started out with. The administrator controls who has access to the STARS system for the purpose of uploading the work reports, contribution files, entering the demographics, and so on. The administrator is the one that controls that. So this page lists the current staff members who have access to the employer self-service portal. In the upper right part of the screen, enables administrators to add a new employee or user, I should say. Very simple process. They would just click on this. Now it is a two-step process, and we will go over that in a later training, just visually showing you that here. The filters allows the administrator to ensure that maybe there wasn't an account created in the past, being that some employers may have a lot of staff or people that need access or had a lot of turnover. This will continue to grow. This list will grow. You can't remove these individuals at all. So you may need to search by using the search engine here. And then the three dots to the left, the snowman here, basically this is updating the user access. This person right now, this is how you would remove the access, but we'll go into that a little bit more in depth a little later in our training videos. And next is the employee information tab. The employer demographics is located here. So Bisbee Fire Departments we're working with, type their fire. It has your nationwide ID number here as well. And in our new system, currently we use a 3-number system for our employers. For our new system, it's going to a 4-digit number system. So that'll be something new for everyone to get used to. It has great information for any new staff members that come in that may not know the answer. Social Security withheld, yes or no is here. And your joinder status is active. And then the joinder date, if you should need to know that, is located here as well. You can come in and change the employer address, but if you need to, if the employer actually moves, you can change that. Any phone number changes at all, you can edit that as well to update that. But down here in the contacts, these are the folks that you, as the employer, have listed for the purpose of PSPRS reaching out and contacting us. So, for example, payroll right now, Ralph Gaffel, they show me as a payroll because that's who I'm logged in. My duty is payroll. So if PSPRS needed to contact payroll for any questions, they could reach directly out to that. Should you need to add staff members, then you would come over here to add contact, and that's where you would add the new staff member to the contact role for purpose of public safety reaching out to them. Next is the imports file or imports tab. So in case you were wondering where to upload everything, here it is. This is the imports tab. Currently, you see that there's a demographics file loaded here under ping driver. Excuse me. But to add an import, you would just click on the upper right hand corner here of Add Imports. This is where you will upload your work reports or your demographic files. You select on the down arrow between demographics contribution file, browse wherever you have your file uploaded or saved, I should say. You would go there to get it. A description can be anything. Maybe it's a new hire class. That's what you would put in there for the date. Also, potentially you could just put one single person's information in there. It depends on what you would like to have set up as the employer. So we leave that up to you for the purpose of your records. The next area we'll look at is reports. Now, this section hasn't fully been developed yet by PSPRS, but the vision is if employers need specific reports that you're not able to create from your rosters or your work reports or your payments, then this is where we would be able to put those for you once we get this created. Um, so if you're needing special reports, then you want to reach out to us through secure messages, and that is a secure message back and forth, and we're going to discuss that here in a moment. But once again, this section for reports hasn't been fully developed yet. So if you have ideas, pass those on to us, but we'll be developing that as we get going. Now the Documents tab. This is where the local board or the employer will be sending documents instead of mailing membership form or emailing memberships form, mailing in membership forms. We don't need those anymore at Public Safety Retirement System because you're going to be controlling everything as the employer, putting everything into the system. So enrollment forms are no longer needed. But if you as the employer wish to keep using those, you could always upload those here in the documents. As you see here, this is local board view. They have a lot of local board minutes that have been put in here as samples. So that's another area that you will not need to send those to us anymore. The local board updates will be done within the STAR system, and local board minutes and all that will be uploaded in here directly. So you won't need to email those to the retirement system anymore. So next is our Sessions tab. So in the future, PSPRS will use this to notify employers of future training that's being offered. Attendees will be able to enroll via this area. And also our administrators can enroll their staff to attend trainings as well if they see something that they feel that's beneficial for their staff. Then this is where you'll be going once we have the trainings built up and available and you can register for that. So moving on to secure message. So this may be new to most of you. If you're not familiar with it, it is a secure communication between PSPRS and the employer. So currently, many of you reach out through various departments via email addresses or even reaching out to select individuals that you've worked with in the past that you've enjoyed doing that. This actually becomes the preferred method of communication with PSPRS and the employer, back and forth communication. So STARS streamlines the process by consolidating all the communication into one single platform, enabling us at PSPRS to provide a more efficient and consistent support to all of you. So how that works is that a new message when you need to ask us a question. So you're going to send us a new message. Subject up here, you could type in something to the effects of having trouble enrolling this member. What you're going to want to make sure you do is provide the Social Security name and Social Security number of the individual. And then down here under the topics, for that purpose, we would select demographics. And then down here, you would explain what is going on and that. Now, if you need to send us a file to show us what's happening or You have something that you're questioning, you can always attach a file. You can drag and drop in here. You can click over at your saved document and put it in here. And then you would just close it. And then once you got the message ready to go, you would go ahead and click send. What happens from there is that PSPRS will get the message. Um, It'll be sent to one of our groups based on the subject that was picked. And then from there, once PSPRS has responded to you, you will receive an email to log into your employer account and go to secure messages because you have a new secure message waiting for you. And that would be our response to your secure message. And the last one area that we're going to look at is our contact us. As you can see, all of PSPRS's contact information is located here. And to the right of that, we do have some frequently asked questions, FAQs listed here for you as well. And right now, we have a few examples in here. How do I change my password? How do I help a member's divorcing? So you just come over here and we would have some information here for you. So we're still working on what this view is going to look like. We may have links to created documents already on how to do certain things, but this was area that we're still building out. Well, that ends today's video training. Should you need to reach out to us, feel free to use your secure message. Just ensure that you include the member's name and social security number in there or their PSPRS ID number. I should have said that earlier. And that way we can research your questions regarding the member. Take care and have a great day.